Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a chirology and palmistry practitioner and teacher based in Johannesburg. And for many years, I've been promoting hand reading or hand analysis or chirology as the bridge between psychology and divination. And that really is the purpose of me presenting this channel. I'd like to support you to lean more into the therapeutic component of the power of the hand reading process. Now, for those of you who are new to reading hands, you need to develop your eye. And there are things that you can see from hands from a distance. I've come up with 11. So the first thing you might notice about a set of hands from the distance is whether or not the person is wearing any rings. And rings for chirology and hand reading practitioners have great significance. We do need to know the meaning of each individual finger and what the finger represents before we come to our interpretation. But think of it, the person is literally adding weight to what that finger represents. So, number two, in what you'd notice about hands from a distance is the amount of gesturing that the person does. Do they make broad, expansive gestures with their hands, or are their hands held very tightly and closed and almost hidden? This will reveal immediately an extrovert versus an introvert orientation in the person, plus a whole bunch of other meanings. That is number three that you'll notice about hands from a distance is, of course, the size of the hands. Are they particularly large or small in relation to the height and size of the person? This is very, very key, and it tells us a great deal. When the hands are average and they suit the size and shape of the person, we don't really examine that particularly. But if there's something anomalous, if there's something that really jumps out at you, like, wow, those are huge hands, then we have a whole bunch of interpretations to investigate. The fourth thing that a hand reader might notice about a set of hands from the distance is the person's nails. Are they bitten? Are they cared for? Are they long? What shape are they? And of course, a more careful examination will take us into the person's health. As well we know, traditionally the hands are known as the windows to the person's health. Nails then are a very significant and important part of the chirologist's work. Number five in what you might see about a set of hands from a distance is how thick or thin are the person's fingers. Thick fingers speak for themselves. You can see the person is generally more engaged in the sensual. They love their food, they are more tactile, they are, in a sense, a lot stronger in the world. And thin fingers show a certain reserve, a caution, maybe a fastidiousness. And like with all aspects of hand reading, there are many meanings that go with each of these components or possibilities or shapes or forms. And we'll talk more on that in due course. Number six in what we hand readers notice about hands from a distance are whether or not the person's fingers are straight. Bent fingers show some element of imbalance in the person. There's a saying in hand reading, it goes, fingers are best worn straight, and bends tell a big story. I personally have bent middle fingers, and I look forward to sharing my journey with you about my middle fingers. And I would love to actually hear from you about your any bends and ideas about bent fingers that you've come across. It's an area of tremendous interest to me, and we're looking forward to breaking this down one by one in terms of each finger individually. Number seven might be a little difficult for those of you who don't have a system by which to interpret the hands, but for those of us who have an idea of the basic hand shapes, sometimes we can see just from a person's gestures, are they fiery, are they earthy, are they watery, are they airy, or if you superimpose your own particular system of identifying hand shapes onto that person. I use the element system, thus the terminology of earth, water, fire, air. But a professional hand reader will immediately have their own way of assessing a hand shape quite easily from a distance, especially when they've had a bit of experience. Number eight is whether or not the person is right or left-handed. And I have covered this topic quite in depth in a previous video. And of course, from a distance, you can't tell terribly much about what their right versus left-handedness might mean. But if you look closer into the palm print or into the palm itself, if there are significant differences between the hands, this is going to have a big story attached. Number nine in what is noticeable about hands from a distance is often the color of the inside of the palm specifically, and sometimes also the edges of the nails. Each of these have significance. We've got a yellow look, we've got a purpley look, sometimes bluish, red, quite common, white hands and so on, and each of these has a whole array of meanings, but you can really kind of tune your eye and be observant about what color exudes from that set of hands, and then cross-refer to your reference places to learn more about what those meanings might be. Coming now to number 10 is the actual lines themselves. One can sometimes see from a fair distance if the person has very deeply etched lines, if they have many, many lines, few lines. And we can't obviously look into the lines from a distance, but you can get a general sense quite readily about the general sort of heaviness of the lines. Just little clues that might talk to you as a hand reader that gives you an impression, and it's always those impressions that in a sense inform, and through that we build our interpretation. Number 11, we need to get a little bit more close and personal, and that is to shake the person's hands. And of course, our handshakes tell a great deal about us. And in next week's video, I'll be talking about the limp fish handshake. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. It'll help me so much. And I look forward to chatting with you soon again. Bye for now.